A lot of times I'm driving, there's nothing to do, and I shuffle through the radio before I unglue. There's a lot of red on ways, it's traffic, I'm screwed, and I'm wired a bit different than a regular dude. It's not a bad thing, I embrace it, it's true. The radio don't stimulate brain chemistry fluid. The Buddha found nirvana and the Four Noble Truths. Through a meditative process, right action he proved. For me, I require the use of a tool, a detector, pin, pointer, shovel, and beach scoop. I'm meant to work the dirt with my history crew, but everywhere I look, my interest taboo. Most people choose Bieber over Tippecanoe. What does a detectorist listen to when the radio is full of bad music and news? I need an alternative for me to peruse. Beyond Sight and Sound gets fantastic reviews. A metal detecting show where my thought bubble brews. Thank you, Josh Kimmel, for inviting me to a detecting dork out with guests like yours truly.
Are you looking for a high-quality beach and sand scoop? Are you trying to take your hunting to the extreme? How about an American-based company that stands behind their product and everything they sell? Then check out our friends over at XTREME Scoops. John has been making scoops for some time now and makes a quality beach and sand scoop to take your hunting to the next level. XTREME Scoops recently released their new sand shredder that works great in the water and on the beach. And if you're a new Equinox user, you may want to check out his Surfmaster X3 that can trap those small targets you new Equinox users are finding out there. XTREME Scoop's company approach is let's do it right. So do it right, buy it once, and go to the extreme. XTREMEScoops.com. That's XTREME scoops.com.
Caution. Please do not operate motor vehicles or power equipment while under the influence of this show. Listening to this show could cause side effects such as bouts of laughter, violent binges of cabin fever, and even dreams of silver and gold. Please be advised. Now that the fine print is out of the way, on with the show.
All right, the fine print's out of the way. It's time to roll with the show. We're back and we're live once again. You are listening to Beyond Sight and Sound, metal detecting and treasure hunting radio for all the really cool digging people out there. And I really see them dropping into the chat. Good grief. Wow, we've even got the jester himself in. Steve Pacifico's in the house.
I know I couldn't hide from him.
Well, I guess we won't tell him then that you're wearing your M95 Steve Pacifico series mask. But yeah, I see Steve in, Crazy Spider, Jesse, Bills, Ambient Relic Girl, Barb, Pato Masters in the house, Mark. Quite a few of them dropping in. Good to see, definitely. Obviously, we're here, we're back, we're live once again. We are still practicing social distancing, but the introverts in the chat are safe, and those hitting the archives are even safer, although Pato Masters may be listening from the field. The Ohio governor issued the stay-at-home order today while Pat was out detecting, so hopefully he's got plenty of batteries with him.
Or bail money.
Right. Yeah, that might be a good thing to have, too. You never know. People are getting crazy around here with all of this stuff. Of course, I'm sure you've been seeing it in Jersey as well.
Yeah, we were smart enough to stock up on necessities early on, so we're barely leaving the house now. The stores are pretty much empty. If somebody has a sale on toilet paper, the line's 5 miles long, so...
Right, yeah, at that point it's like, why bother? We're not going to get any anyway.
Yeah.
Crazy. So obviously everybody's been waiting for it. We touch on it at least once a year, And it's that time. I looked on Skype, and it looks like the last time we did an electrolysis show was about 8 months ago.
Yep.
You were actually on vacation. I guess you were practicing social distancing then.
I was distancing early.
Right.
Last time we talked, we hadn't dropped the new Ugly Box yet. We were just getting ready to.
That's right, and you were just fixing to pick up distribution of it.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, I think that was just days or maybe even hours from the announcement that it had been picked up in distribution.
Yeah, it was literally like the day before.
Very, very nice. And I gotta say, I've seen, I guess previous generations of the Ugly Box, so I've personally seen the evolution of it firsthand. And this one, it's your best unit yet, I think.
Well, you know what? The thing was that we knew what technology we wanted to put into this thing. We've known where, like the new Thunder and Thrasher, we knew we wanted that in there 20 years ago. The problem with coming up with a new design, a new product like that, is that technology doesn't always lend itself to immediacy. We didn't have pulse motors that were small enough and powerful enough and could hold up to a beating back then. So it took this long to kind of develop it. And then when you get to the point that we got with the TNT, we need, you need someone that can help you, put it out there. You need someone that can help you, and literally finance the first run of these things, offer distribution. And that's what we found with Ronnie DeGhetto. Ronnie DeGhetto literally took us to put the Ugly Box where we wanted it, which was at the next level.
Absolutely. Sometimes you've got to wait for the technology to kind of catch up so that you can have it in a cost-effective unit.
Well, when I tell people that the unit that's out there right now, that was actually built. We had a model of that built probably 21 years ago. And when I tell you that the one unit took up, a 3x6, 3x8 tabletop, that's where the technology has come from then to now. We literally, there was no way to make this thing portable because the units that we were building for ourselves would take up a table. We'd have to have a table dedicated to just the motor function of this thing.
Right, and now we're looking at, good grief, what are the dimensions? Like 6x8? It can't be any bigger than 8x10.
It's 3.5 by 7. And in all likelihood, the next generation will probably be a little smaller, just because we can. After my arthritic fingers put together about 5,000 of these things, you'd be surprised. You learn tricks, you make them smaller.
Right. Yeah, I can remember one of the earlier units way back when you were actually using the project boxes like you are now.
The first one, yeah.
Yeah, those things, I mean, they were probably every bit of a foot wide.
Yeah, we were using big boxes, and just because you realize that I didn't start out this as an electronics expert. I learned my electronics as I went. So to put my fat fingers inside of a tiny box, it got kind of hard to work. So the bigger the box at that time, the better. Now I've become quite versed at soldering.
Yes, you have. You have definitely done that. So obviously tonight we're talking electrolysis, Ugly Box Copperhead style. And for those listening, maybe they've heard us touch on electrolysis before. Maybe they haven't heard us touch on electrolysis before. Go back, check the archives, check YouTube. Whenever we do a show on electrolysis, as far as we're concerned, Frank Lopergolo is the kind of guru, and that's who we always have on to touch on electrolysis. So check back in the archives if you're looking for anything as far as what's his experience in the field, how many years he's been at this, because he is very, very well versed in it. They have the Detect America Electrolysis Facebook group, which I did put the link in the chat. The link is also in the show description, which is actually the only recommended electrolysis group by Beyond Sight and Sound. We do recommend that in the group, and that's where we try to send people, because if you're going to do electrolysis, you're not going to harm the item as long as it's done properly, and at least with the Detect America Electrolysis group, you do get proper information, because as Frank can also convey, there is a lot of confusing information and misinformation around.
Yeah, for sure.
So, from what I've been seeing in the previous units up to even the latest generation now, even if people don't understand, and I'm not saying they have to understand the science or the principle behind it,
right,
but there's still a lot of people that are, I don't know, intimidated by it, I guess would be the best word. And it's not rocket science we're talking about here.
Exactly. And you know what? That the basis for the Ugly Box, the entire concept behind this thing was that the technology and the process, the phenomenon of electrolysis that happens is super confusing. It's confusing, and if that's what you're trying to wrap your head around, you're probably going to give up before you start. So the idea behind the box itself was to understand, try and relay to people, yes, there's a very confusing technology out there, but we have taken that out of the equation. What we've tried to do is make this, and not calling anybody idiots, but I'm the idiot. We made it idiot-proof. We made it so easy that I could use it. And you kind of got to wrap your head around the idea that the process is taking place. You don't have to understand the process to understand how to work the unit, which itself is kind of manipulating that process. So take the questions out of the equation, make it easy for people to use, and you can become very versed and very creative and very successful at using the Ugly Box on your coins or your relics without having a super working knowledge of the electrolysis process itself.
Exactly. And that's what you've done with your boxes. I mean, you've put it into the most absolute simplest terms that you can get. You know, you've got one marked coin, one marked catalyst. It's not that hard for people to figure out. I mean, place a clip here, place a clip there, throw it in, let it go.
Now, the minutia of individual coins and everything, that's something that takes practice. We tell people to practice with it. Where we are, myself, Steve, the guys Ronnie and Kristen over at the Gold Digger. These are people that'll answer questions for you. And if they can't, my PM, I was just telling Josh that my day started at 4:30 answering electrolysis questions until literally probably about 2:00 in the afternoon, and that's fine. Don't think anybody's bothering me. I love doing it, but that's how we'll reach out and help you when you have questions about a specific coin. There's a book in the works. It's not my novel about me growing up, in poor South Jersey. It's strictly about operating electrolysis via the vehicle of Ugly Box, whether it's the older Ugly Boxes, whether it's the new TNTs. It's strictly my take on the Ugly Box, my tips and tricks, stuff that I do that may not be in the instructions in the Ugly Box, stuff that I'll do to tweak coins, to tweak relics, stuff that is common questions, stuff that I answer every day, that until this box came out, I really didn't even know people were having these types of questions. So it's great. So that the book's going to try and answer a lot of those questions. We are always available via PM email to answer questions. If I don't get back to you in 5 minutes, don't fret. I'll be back to you. I promise.
Right. You're out building them or digging up Morgans or cooking coins or
try to dig as often as I can. Right now with the virus and the my supply chains in the hub, then I get to dig a little bit, as long as we social distance.
Right, yeah, keep a detector length apart.
Yeah, exactly.
That works out well that way, though. Definitely. Or at least it worked out great for you the other day. Great score on that Morgan.
Yeah, that was we were literally pulling. I mean, we pulled a couple of coins. We pulled a pound of clad. We pulled a silver dime here. I had a silver quarter, but the Papa Morgan, that made my day because
and a counter stamped Morgan at that.
Yeah, big old H on her cheek.
Which I did notice that really kind of inundated the counter stamp questions.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because you got a whole group of guys that are out there going, oh, why'd they do that? They ruined its value. Well, in 1896, they didn't care about the value. They didn't care about the value of the collectors in 112 years from now. They cared about, marking their coins for whatever reason they had to mark them.
Right. But in some cases, it can actually increase the value. And it really did surprise me how many people out there were, I don't know, blissfully ignorant to counterstamping.
There's a whole subculture of collectors out there that do nothing but look for counterstamp coins.
Right. That is a nice one for sure. And it'll be an upcoming prize soon.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to give it during the boot camp. Yep.
Right. So I guess, I suppose before we get any further, we should probably mention for those who haven't heard already the buzz going around, you're going to be releasing very soon, I think Thursday may be the first one, a series of 3 basically real-time virtual walkthrough electrolysis scenarios.
Yeah, we're gonna do a 3-episode boot camp. This is going to be live, so you'll be able to catch it on the replays and stuff, but you can watch it live. We're going to go through I have been stockpiling questions that come in from the very, very basic to some of the more advanced about cooking coins, as particularly with the Ugly Box. And so we're going through from A to Z, start to finish, 3 nights of how to prep and cook and finish off coins of all type. First night is going to be basic stuff. It basically the setup, the build of the box itself. We'll probably do a couple silvers that night because they're my recommended practice coin. And then night 2 is definitely going to be copper from start to finish. Coppers. That's the biggest question that I get is how to successfully cook a copper coin. And then the last night will be the finish up. I'll show you how to tweak colors, how to plate, some of the other stuff that you can do with the Ugly Box.
So it'll basically start out, kind of like a beginner's guide and work their way into more advanced stages.
Yeah, exactly. But I want to make it clear, even the more advanced stages, the cooking of the delicate coppers, I'm trying to present this so that a newbie to this facet of the hobby, picking up an Ugly Box at his local dealer, can attack a copper coin successfully. Can attack a copper coin without trying to take some of that fear out, even as a newcomer. There's a process to go through. If you follow the process that we're going to extend out to you on during the boot camp, you're going to have a reasonable chance of success at doing this. Because the rules are all geared towards safety of yourself and safety of the coin that you're cooking. And if you follow the instructions, if you follow the rules that we kind of put in place, and they're not the same for every coin is going to be different, of course. But if you know the rules that are in place for doing coppers, the rules that are in place for doing silver, the rules that are in place for doing ancillary metals, aluminum and nickels and those kind of things, you can always approach it knowing that if you take it slow, you'll always fall just this side of ruining anything, and you can always stop and correct.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, and like I've told people on the show before that they're a little worried about maybe, I don't know, I don't want to damage it. You're only going to get as good as you originally had anyway, and if you do nothing with it, you're not stabilizing the metal, so it's going to continue to deteriorate.
And that's if I had to pick one thing that is the most difficult to convey to people out there, because I've showed coins in the before pictures that literally was a blob of copper goo.
Yeah, you couldn't even tell what it was. It was a round shape.
Then I cook them, and guys like, you ruined the value. Really? What was the value of the blob of copper goo that was in my hand prior to me cooking it? And this is, again, I'm not going head to head with coin collectors, because very, very secretly and quietly, coin collectors are the best customer for the Ugly Box, whether anybody wants to know that or not. But the pricing, the grading, it's not worth anything if it's not carded. That's all an invention of the companies that grade and card your coins. And if you don't believe me, if you don't think that cooked coins are clean, even clean, forget the ugly box, coins that are clean. If you don't think that there's a market for those things, well, just go look on eBay because all right. So the NGC guys, maybe they're not going to buy your cooked copper coin, but there's a whole world of guys that understand that a coin that you can identify is way more valuable than a coin you can't identify.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if they're looking for a particular type and they don't have it already, well, that one looks better than the one they've got.
The offers that came in on the 1794 Liberty Head that I popped a couple weeks ago, and then I cooked. The offers that came in for this thing after the cook were probably higher offers than if I had it carded. Because listen, a coin out of the ground carded is, even if you didn't touch it, is going to have environmental damage to it. Right off the bat, it's going to kill the value according to the carding companies. And in my opinion, again, my humble opinion, why? Well, because they want to sell coins. Right. So a found $500 coin is a found $500 coin. It's not a coin that money's going into their coffers on. But the offers that I got on this thing was definitely higher than offers I would have got if I had it carded by one of the grading companies.
Well, and it turned out great.
Yeah, it came out good, and that's a blessing and a curse too, because
not all will.
Guys will get their thrashed. I mean, there's a lot of thrashed out copper coins out there, guys, and they'll cook them, and they want to know, how come it's not MS70 coin now? Your own electrolysis is going to give you it's going to present what you already have. If that detail is non-existent on that coin, ugly box electrolysis isn't putting it back on. It's one, stabilizing the metal. It's stopping the metal from breaking down any further. And two, it's going to reveal the detail that is left on the coin. So if you have a thrashed out copper, and I've done it for guys, and I apologize. A guy recently just sent me two. And when they're dirty, when they're crusted, a lot of times you'll see detail that you think is on the coin, but it's not really on the coin. It only exists in the crust and the dirt and the crap. It's actually deteriorated underneath that. So when you go to clean it and that kind of disappears, the first thing out of people's mouths is, oh, see, electrolysis ruined the coin. No, it didn't. It stabilized it. It cleaned it. It's showing you what was really there. So we do testing. I do tests. Guys send me coins like crazy. I do pre-testing on the coins to see if they're a candidate. Any coin is a candidate for electrolysis, but not every coin is going to come out with a ton of detail, because that detail is probably already gone.
Right. Yeah. If it wasn't there to begin with, it's not going to miraculously appear.
The problem is that guys that clean them with other methods that leave you're kind of cleaning around the detail. If you left the detail there that is in reality not there, if you left the detail in the patina or in the dirt so you can see it, that's fine and good. I get why guys want to do that. But right. There's areas of dirt and muck and stuff that are left on that coin. They're continuing to deteriorate the coin. Once it comes out of the ground, it's breaking down at a molecular level faster than when it was in the ground.
Exactly. Once you get it out of the ground, the race is on. The oxygen has hit it. The battle has started.
We're not talking about, you're going to lose the coin tomorrow, but these are for guys that hold on and have collections. They're going to hand them down to their kids. And I've seen coins come out of the ground that should have deteriorated away in a matter of months, that lasted a long time, and I've seen coins come out of the ground that I thought were stable that started pitting and started flaking and started delaminating in a matter of weeks. So ugly electrolysis stops that process. Even if you do short cooks with it so you don't lose all your patina, at the very least you're slowing it down. You're giving yourself more time to evaluate the coin and make that decision if you want to pull the trigger on really cooking it or not.
Right. I know there's been, although rare instances, there have been times where I've went out and, say I've dug an Indian, and I'll look at it right after you get it out of the ground and say, hey, that doesn't look like that's in too bad a shape. I get it home, I throw it off to the side, and I'll get to that tomorrow, or I'll get to that the next day. And I go back, and And it's already changed so dramatically that by then it's a lost cause.
Yeah, it'll surprise you. It'll surprise you sometimes when left to their own devices. These coins, especially a lot of coins that come out of farm fields, with this new generation of pesticides and fertilizers, how quickly out of the ground they'll start to go south on you.
Yeah, and it really is amazing when you see it happen, because you can look at it and go, but yesterday it looked just fine.
Yep, absolutely.
Now, and have you noticed too with the ugly boxes? Because I know, being in New Jersey, you get quite a fair amount of saltwater fines.
Sure.
And you notice, like with the other, say, someone else's method of electrolysis, when you're cooking that find, you can actually smell you can tell by the odor that find came from a saltwater environment.
But people don't realize when you cook, especially silver, and silver is a good example, because I always tell everybody, if you want to practice, you practice with silver. It's a very safe coin. Most people believe that silver cannot deteriorate away. Well, check out some of the Etosha coins. Check out some of the other coins that have come out of the ocean. Silver will deteriorate, and when you cook that silver that's been deteriorating away, the sulfur smell will overwhelm you. Silver starts to break down because the ancillary metals, a little tiny bit of ancillary metal, copper or whatever it is, that kind of is the binder in that metal, is gone, and you're literally cooking this raw silver. It still comes out beautiful. It'll still cook it up really nice and really quickly, but the sulfur and stuff that was kind of inundated it from the ocean will just overwhelm you.
Right. And the thing that kind of surprised me, because I've been anxiously waiting for the power packs to come out, and when I got a hold of the power pack, I figured, hey, you know what? I've got a pen that I had found saltwater hunting, back in 2016, I want to say. And I've kept that immersed in water, just continually changing the water out with fresh water. And
right.
Even cooking it now, 4 years after the fact, and cooking it slow, you could still smell that distinct, this is a saltwater find.
Absolutely.
It wasn't as distinctive, but it was there.
Sometimes you'll smell the bay in those coins when you're cooking them. It's definitely a very distinct odor of saltwater finds when you're cooking them. Absolutely.
And for people who haven't done it, haven't experienced it, you do not forget it. It's one of those odors that you will remember. I can remember back in 2016 when we were out in Massachusetts, we tried to cook at that time it was a cookie coin, basically. We weren't real sure what it was. And come to find out, it was a Standing Liberty silver quarter. But while we're cooking this thing and the crud is falling off, it literally, the way it smelled there at the table, you'd have thought there was a sewer leak for a block.
Yeah. And people got to realize, too, especially cookie coins. I love doing cookie coins because the reveal is so grand when it finally comes to pass. But when you take your metal detector to the beach and you get down near that black sand, you hear that metal detector going off. That metal detector will chatter on you. You'll get all kinds of noise. That stuff that you're hearing is the stuff that's adhering to those coins over the course of hundreds of years. A lot of that is magnetizable. It's magnetic, and you're cooking that as well as well as the coin. So if you pull a coin out of a farm field and it's dirty and crusted and you're cooking that stuff that's on top is non-magnetic. It's going to fall away. You probably won't smell anything. You won't notice anything. It just falls away from the coin. When you're doing a cookified coin, you're actually cooking the minerals that are in that cookie portion of the coin. So you're getting a lot of that odor as well.
Right.
The good thing about that is that the coin underneath that cookie is so distinct. Its metal is so different from the stuff that's adhered to it. When the reveal comes, I've done a lot of cookie coins that I've cooked them with no change, and all of a sudden I literally just took the cookie right off it, and there's the coin. It lends itself to separating the coin from the cookie really, really well.
Yeah, it does, actually. And you're right, you can tell a difference between cooking, say, a farm field find
Sure.
Versus a saltwater find.
Absolutely.
It is, though. It's really, I get a kick out of the cookie coins myself too, and exactly for the reason you mentioned. Just it looks like just a round, indescript disc.
Yep.
But once that starts to fall away and you get that reveal, you're like, wow, that's a whole lot better shape than I thought it would be.
And I tell guys that are detecting, because a lot of guys I've detected with over the years, we dig in areas that are prone to hot rocks, and they'll get a couple screaming hot rocks, and I see them go toss them away, and I tell you, don't disregard those hot rocks right off the bat, because the one of my big successes with electrolysis, there's a little area of Bay Beach down here. It's a stony old beach called Reed's Beach in South Jersey. And I can say the name freely because it's off limits now. Nobody can go on it. It's actually a state-owned now. But I was running radar for one of the local utilities. And they gave me permission to go swing a detector. And I happened to get a hot rock that was screaming. It was on the CTX 3030. It was in the 12 and 13s, guys, like a big old chunk of silver. And
right,
it was
good target.
And I took that sucker home, and this is the old the old not N series. This is the old parallel versions of the Ugly Box then. So this thing cooked for a week, and when I finally got it off, this is a Roman coin. Now, everybody, as soon as I showed it, it was like, it's got to be fake. Well, on that same day on the East Coast, 3 other guys posted on the page Roman coins that were found, and a few weeks back on the Jersey Shore, one of our little get-togethers at the beach, one of our guys dug a Roman coin. It looks legit to me. And then today on the page, another guy up in I think it was Rhode Island, dug a Roman coin. So,
wow.
Whether or not the Roman coin portion of it is ancillary, I think there's more to our history than is being revealed out there. But the point of the moral of the story was, don't disregard hot rocks, guys. Hot rocks aren't always a natural occurrence. Sometimes they are an encrusted man-made occurrence. And if you're getting a really good coin signal on a hot rock, take that thing home and do what you got to do to open it up and see what's underneath.
Yeah, absolutely. I've heard plenty of stories of people that, it's given them a screaming signal like that, and they drop it in their pouch, take it home, and tap it with a hammer or whatever, and find out that there really was something there.
Absolutely.
Nice. So
one thing, Josh, I did want to touch on, because I was listening to one of your shows, and you were talking about the power pack and how you were kind of sticking with the battery packs until you got the feel for the power pack. And I get that, because you guys got to realize that for years and years and years we preached no plug-in power.
Right.
We only wanted the battery pack. So I just want to put it out there, because you're not the first person to question this. This power pack that we are selling now for the Ugly Box, this was months of research. The guys, my buddies over at Digitech, did the research for me. That this power pack is what we call micro amperage, ultra slow amperage. It maxes out at 12 volts. So using this is going to give you no more juice than using a pack of batteries. The difference is that this is going to sustain that voltage longer than the batteries will. And with batteries, if you were to get a short circuit or something, God forbid, in your tank, the batteries don't have the amperage to push it, to try and put more energy into it. So it kind of shuts down that short. That's the same thing with this particular battery, this particular adapter. This it has blowouts in it. It has a thermal fuse. If it heats up, it shuts down. And if it shorts out, it blows out. The idea was keeping the voltage nominal, but keeping the amperage, which is the killer in electrolysis, keeping the amperage ultra low. So don't be afraid, guys, if you're home, to use the AC adapter on this thing, because this particular AC adapter was designed to be as true to running battery packs as you could. This is simply to save on batteries.
Right, yeah, exactly. And since it's come in and I've used it, the power pack itself works great. Like I said, this is probably your best unit yet. For those who maybe they're burning up a lot of batteries, maybe they're cooking a lot of things. Myself, I use rechargeable 9 volts, so it doesn't necessarily matter if I'm, burning through batteries. I can recharge them.
Right.
But this one, I was very, very impressed. And with previous background or whatever you could say, I did spend some time as a musician and am quite familiar with Digitech's products. They're a quality company.
Yeah, absolutely. They're good guys. They were gracious. I mean, listen, they did not have to give a crap about what I needed.
Right. Don't bother us.
Friend over there who's like, listen, because I'm right now with all this virus stuff, we're kind of sitting around twiddling our thumbs. So they did some of the legwork for me, and came up with it was a couple 3 different power packs. Some were at higher voltages, which I may introduce later on down the road for those who want to run multiple tanks or cook really big items. When I build them for salvage vessels, I generally use a higher voltage because we're covering a greater area. But this was the one that was the perfect voltage. It maxes at 12, which is more than enough to cook anything you want to cook. I've cooked a 70-pound bell at no more than 12 volts. And it's got the perfect amperage. It's got less than a 500 milliamps of amperage. It's not going to force feed a ton of electricity and arc your coins. It does the job that the battery packs do. It just doesn't run out of juice. That's all.
Right. You can't, and for people, so they don't get confused, you can't run the Thunder and Thrasher off of the power pack.
No, Thunder and Thrasher is a specific voltage. That's why it comes with battery pack. The battery pack for the Thunder and Thrasher, though, that lasts a long time. I'm using the same battery pack probably for a month straight now, and I do a lot of cooking here. So, but it's a very specific voltage. Future incarnations of this ugly box will probably all be powered off of one adapter. The problem is that, again, we're talking about technology catching up with where we're at. For me to put that voltage regulation in that thing now so that one power pack runs everything, you're adding $30 or more to the price tag. And I'm just not going to do, when you can buy, for $10 you can buy the battery pack. I'm just not going to, I don't want to put that kind of expense on the people at this point. Now, at some point in time, the parts that I need to do that will come down in price, and it won't affect the price that much. And at that point in time, we'll probably make the change. But for now, for the price of what the battery pack costs to make and to buy, it's just more financially effective to keep it at the battery pack.
Right. And for those who may be wondering, because I know the first shipment of power packs that came in, man, them things went out like lightning. I mean, you were getting so many messages that you had to send the rest of them off to Ronnie.
I had to send to Ronnie. I actually got 2 orders in, and the first runs of these things are never big. Because, you always want to, first of all, even though the company, it was in California that kind of figured out which one I needed, these things, they all come from overseas. So you always want to get a batch of them in. I want to get them out, and I want to see how they work, make sure everything's working fine.
Right, work out the kinks.
So then literally within days of that, I placed the next order, which was a huge order. And lo and behold, Corona set in and kind of shut down ports around the world. So I'm still waiting. Hopefully by the 1st, we will be fully stocked with this stuff. We're simply waiting for the orders to arrive.
Right. So people that, because I know there's some people out there, I guess, they've already got the new version of the Ugly Box, and they're just waiting on the adapters. Right. Those should hopefully be in stock by the 1st.
Yeah, the word that I'm getting is that some of these ports are moving again, and now hopefully hopefully the distributors in the United States that sent them to me are working. But from what I'm understanding, on or around the 1st, within a couple of days of the 1st, I should have a big stock of power packs, and ugly boxes will be flowing again at full speed out of our little production building here.
Nice. So those that do have the newer version of the Ugly Box, then that do accept the AC adapter, they should have no worries. They'll be getting those in just a few weeks then, basically.
Yeah, and those who have the original version of the Ugly Box, the original version of the TNT, the original version of the TNT, and the older versions of the N series, the old ones that were built in the Tupperware-looking containers. We build now something called the Copperhead module, and it runs like $24. This thing will hook to your old N series or your original TNT, and we'll turn that into a Copperhead, basically. It gives you the safety valves that we put in it, and it also gives you the voltage regulation and it will also accept the power pack. So you'll be able to power the old N series and the original Copperhead, the original TNT with the AC adapter with the addition of the module.
Nice. So, for those that may be on a budget or whatever, they can always, basically purchase an adapter and update theirs.
Exactly. It's just a little tiny box. It hooks right to the external ports of the original TNT and the older N series, and that's it. Everything works the same. You plug your power source in. You can plug battery packs into it if you want. It gives you the voltage regulation. You can dial in your numbers, and it actually adds added safety precautions to the system itself.
Nice. Which that's kind of been the concept from the get-go.
Always.
That you were trying to do it not only in a easy way for people to understand, but a way that also kept them safe and nobody's, electrocuting themselves or burning their house down.
Exactly. That was the whole, and not just that, but not frying coins. You don't want to ruin your treasures. There are your treasures that you worked hard to pull out of the ground, and you want to do this thing where you're not, putting yourself in any danger. You're not burning down your house, like Josh said. And there's not a lot of thought. You don't have to put a lot of thought into the safety factor of this machine when it comes to your safety, when it comes to the safety of your coins or relics. Basically, what we're striving for is plug in, follow the directions, and not worry about it, not have to worry about it.
Right. How long have you left an item in the tank with the power pack and not seen any detrimental damage at all?
Well, let's put it this way. The same thing with batteries, guys. If you've got a delicate copper and you're cooking it with a 12-volt power pack and you walk away from 12 hours, you have to follow the rules. So and the question's a little tricky because there's really, with the new system and the new protocol that we put in place, how we cook our coins today, how it differs from how we cooked our coins literally 5 years ago is huge. I don't do sessions on a coin longer than an hour anymore. It's just not in me. There's no need for it. The way that we've tweaked the process, not just the machine, but the way that we've tweaked the process, first off, makes it a lot safer for your coins. And secondly, we have found it is a lot more effective. These shorter cooks at lower voltages, slowly increasing the voltage over time, has cut the overall time of these cooks down. Cook some coins that have taken me a days to a week to literally hours. The 1794, if I followed the process that I had in place just 5 years ago, this was a week's worth of work. The 1794 Liberty Cap. As opposed to today, following the process that I use today, 2.5 hours, and that coin is where you see it.
And that's what I've noticed with the new unit compared to some of the previous generations. When I threw that pin in, I left it in there for a few minutes, took it out because I wanted to see kind of how things were moving along, because you obviously, everything's kind of a case-by-case basis. You want to see what the item's telling you.
Right.
And when I pulled it out after just a couple of minutes, I'm like, wow, there's been more result there than what I was expecting to see. And sure, I probably could have threw it back in for a little longer, but at that point, hey, I'm happy with it. That's fine. We'll just leave it at that.
If you're working with iron, if you're working with an iron artifact, a bayonet or something like that, you can run that. You can run that tank for an hour, 2 hours if you want to. You're not. Every metal's a little bit different. Iron is a resilient. As easy as iron is to cook, as safe as you are messing with iron, it probably takes the most thought, because you're constantly tweaking. Iron is going to start to oxidize immediately. I don't care how many times you cook it. Iron is its own animal, but it's every metal is different. When you're into the fine stuff, what we have learned now over the past 2 years is that these short cooks, cleaning your tank, rinsing the coin, putting it back in, simply enhances the next cook. It makes the next cook work twice as fast as it used to work. And the end result is, even though you may be doing more short cooks along the way, you have cut the time down overall down by tons. You're using a fraction of the time to complete a coin now than you would have in the old methods that we use. Not that we've changed the technology in the Ugly Box that much, but as important as the changes in the Ugly Box are, the changes to the actual protocol of handling that coin in the process has changed a ton, and it has changed for the good. It has shortened the time, and actually, I've gotten tremendously better results since.
Oh, yeah, I would have to agree. So have I. I mean, like I said, the new unit is just, I was really surprised. It really does its job very, very well, actually. And we've got a caller on with us. It looks like we've got someone who's also had some experience with the Ugly Box. Go ahead, Chuck.
Hey, how's it going, Frank? How's it going? Good show. There's a lot of questions, and I've got questions for you. Can I shoot some at you?
Absolutely.
Feel free. Fire away.
Yeah, now I sell your unit.
Right.
And it's done well. And I just got the Copperhead units in, but the shortage of the wall plugs hurt. I could only get one. But they're coming, I'm told, by Ronnie. Yeah. But, okay, I walked away one day, and I was cooking a silver just to clean it.
Right.
And it was looking pretty good. And then in my life, I get called out. I come back 4 hours later after a fire, and I've got a black silver.
Yeah. If you cook them too long, they will turn black on you. It's partially because it's cooked past its curing point where everything is cooked, and partially because now it's cooked for so long that stuff that has been separated from the tank is now gained weight and is starting to settle back down. It is cleanable. It is fixable.
Now, that was I'll tell you what I did. I just grabbed a Rosie.
Right.
That was pretty red. It had been in the ground near iron.
Right.
And it was dropping off. Got paged out, came back and went, So what would I do with that at this point? What is your steps to take it back to silver? Instead of black, like it's been out in the river.
Basically what you've done is you've created a coin that's basically been in the ocean. But the difference is with the catalyst metal putting in whatever it's put in, it has adhered to the top of it. Replace your catalyst with a piece of scrap silver. And cook it in short increments. And then in between your sessions, and I heard Josh talking about this before. I want to put some people to rest with this. In between the cooks, basic toothpaste while the coin is wet.
Exactly.
And we're not scrubbing. Exactly. We're not scrubbing this thing. You're very gently going over the surface with it, cleaning it under hot water, and putting it back in the tank. The silver catalyst will lift off that black. And the black that comes from overcooking a silver is almost like a glue and wants to adhere a little bit more, but it's actually not part of the coin. The silver catalyst, the little bit of the toothpaste with the hot water in between the cooks, put it back in the tank, and you'll see that silver come back.
Right, and that's the key. You've got to make sure the target is wet.
Right, remember, and the reason we use toothpaste is because when I was a jeweler, when I worked for a jewelry store, the guy who actually hooked me up with metal detecting, a company everybody's heard of called Colgate has not, and people confuse this with Jeweler's Rouge. Not Jeweler's Rouge. This is called Jeweler's Paste, and it comes in a little tiny tube, and it's about $25 a little pot, and it's toothpaste, guys. It's toothpaste without the minty freshness for $25. So your regular, and I'll tell you, I'm gonna throw out a name. I use Pepsodent because Pepsodent is still the most basic toothpaste without the bleaches, without all the grit and stuff. It's just a basic toothpaste. It's designed to polish the enamel on your teeth. It's not going to hurt or scratch the surface of a coin. Just do it while it's wet. Couple of short cooks with the toothpaste, with the silver catalyst, and you'll see your silver come back.
And the reason why I did it with a Rosie, I didn't want to hurt anything else. I just picked the really rusty looking one because I've got about a half a dozen what they call cookies that I found down outside Vero Beach. One I've got enough off the back. It is a Real.
Right.
And before I start cooking them, a silver reel. I can see it. I know it is. And they build up a thick black layer on them. And I found those a couple years back. They're sitting out there, and I've been waiting for the opportunity. I'm going to have it now because we're basically on lockdown. So when you do your boot camp, I want to be watching that and kind of go along and work on these carefully because I'm a little afraid of overcooking or doing something wrong. These are old coins. I know they are, and I've never done anything with them. They're sitting out in the spot that I'm going to work on these and give them a shot. The one it's big enough, it may be a 4 real.
Now, the cool thing about the cookies, I was just telling Josh, you're going to love them because, believe it or not, the cookie-fied coins, the reveal is grand because on certain silver coins that get that cookie, you're going to literally see that cookie come off like a walnut shell off the top. And the other thing I tell people is I've got Roman silvers here, Roman BC coins.
Yeah, I was listening.
That I cooked for museums and stuff. Silver is the awesome metal. I rather people practice on silver coins than practice on clad. Clad you can destroy. Silver coins are hard to kill. You will have.
I don't know about that.
In electrolysis, let's put them that way. If you get called out to a fire, if you get called away for the thing, shut the system off. You're not going to hurt anything. Pick up where you left off. It's not that it's hurting the coin. It's just now you've got to go through the pain of getting that black debris that settled back on the coin off. That's all. Yeah. But you're going to have a good time cooking the silvers because the cookies, because when they finally reveal, they reveal fantastic.
Well, I was hesitant going forward with those until I did get a chance to talk to you and make sure that I wasn't doing something incorrectly and move forward with those. I've literally had them. I know what one of them is, and I got a good feeling about the others. And we'll see how they come out. And if they come out halfway decent and I get them done, I'll post them up or I'll send you pictures of them.
Absolutely. That'd be awesome. Like I said, before we started selling ugly boxes like to the public and the portable versions, I've got electrolysis system on probably a half a dozen salvage vessels that are literally that's all they're cooking. They don't even cook the coppers. Basically what they reserve it for is cooking the silvers. And I tell everybody, every silver that's come off of the Etosha, every silver that's come the El Cazador, every silver that's come off of these vessels by a reputable salvage company, the first thing that happens to them is they get put in electrolysis. And it's tried and true. The only thing where we differ from their systems is we're smaller, so we adjust the voltage based on the size of our tanks, based on the size of the relic of the coins, patch of coins, or whatever that you're cooking. It's just a smaller version of what we put on the salvage ships. And with the new TNT, you have the advantage of the Thunder and the Thrasher. Not so much the Thrasher for a silver coin, but the Thunder. After you cook that thing, you're going to see the Thunder's going to peel a lot of that cookie right off it.
Okay. Well, I was planning on taking the Thunder out and a 9-volt battery and just have water. You watch these guys find stuff, and they're just sitting there rubbing the daylights. Oh, let me squirt of water, and then you still rub it. I was thinking of dropping it in, when I get back to the truck, I'll drop it in some water, and I'll just start a sonic on it and let it drop off because, some of the coins you find might be worth a little more than what you think.
That's the thing is that a lot of times the first step when I'm cooking a coin, whether I'm cooking it for myself, for a museum or an organization, or just somebody who sent me one to cook for them, the first step is for me is always on silver coins is always the Thunder. On copper coins is always about 12 to 24 hours of olive oil, no more than that. That just eliminates some dirt so I can see the condition of the coin. But my first step in actually attacking these coins is always the Thunder, because there's been situations where I thought the coin was way more damaged than it was, and the Thunder simply peeled away surface debris and left a coin that didn't have to be cooked anymore. I didn't have to cook it just because of what the ultrasonic, the hypersonic probe did.
Okay. Now, I've hunted in England. I haven't got my stuff home. I've got a couple Romans that are, well, they know they're Romans. They can't read them, but they aren't doing anything with them, and I'll get them back this fall.
Right.
And I was planning, well, if they're in that kind of condition, trying to cook them a little bit to see them a little better.
Sure. Absolutely. And I said, for whatever reason, these Romans and even these older 1400, 1500 hammered coppers, these cob coins, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's the makeup of the copper they were using at the time, but they cook up fantastic. They cook up better than a lot of modern coppers do.
Cool. They
seem to hold their detail longer. They seem to be a much more resilient coin. I've got a couple floating around here on my desk that came out right down to the mint mark in perfect condition and cooking them a healthy amount of time too.
Yeah, and I've seen those photos.
Right.
They come out beautifully.
We'll give them a shot. I mean, I'm not out of anything anyway, but if I don't, or I will do it, and if I can get something off of them just to see them a little better, I'll do that. And there was a question that popped up. I'm going to shoot that at you. Somebody asked,
yeah, grab them if you can.
Silver ring or silver ring, and it's got a stone. Will any of the work being done on it hurt the stone?
No. The electrolysis. The good thing about electrolysis, as opposed to using heat and some of the chemicals that are used in jewelry stores, the good thing about electrolysis is it's only going to affect directly that which can be magnetized, that which can conduct electricity. So I do diamond rings. I've done citrines, a more kind of delicate stone. It doesn't affect the stone at all. It only, now, if it's I can't speak for if you put a plastic stone or an artificial stone in there, though I haven't seen it affect them, but it won't affect a natural stone at all because the process has no effect on minerals. It only has the effect on the metallic portions of the item you're cooking.
Very good. See, the only thing I ever used to work with electrolysis was iron, and
right.
We did it in large tanks, and that was a whole different story. And working, I'm a little hesitant on some things, so I'm going to watch when you have your boot camp, I'm going to be in there bugging you on so I can teach people, so I can have people that if I'm selling your unit, which I do, I can give them a better idea out here, out in the Midwest, and let them go to work on some of this, because some of our ground out here isn't very kind on some of these coins, and we
Sure.
get some heavy crap built up on them, just like you do.
Absolutely. And like I said, guys, by all means, Chuck, never hesitate to hit me up on the page, hit me up on the chat, call me at home. It doesn't make a difference. As anybody can realize, I probably can see pretty obviously I like to talk about this stuff. So by all means, hit me up anytime.
No, I couldn't even imagine you like to talk about this.
Well, and that's
why I waited. I let you get through and called in kind of late because I do have questions, and other people do too. And Mark Hoover just uses a Dremel, and they're talking about acid. Now, I've worked with a lot of things in acid, and that's all been gold nuggets. That cleans them up nice.
Different animal. If you're talking about gold, like I tell everybody, I've got guys that are, and I won't mention names because that's not what I'm about doing. But I've got guys who are very, very reputable diggers that are out there on the pages, that are out there on the YouTube, and they're telling people to put lemon juice and acidic products, CLR and stuff in the brine mix. And I just can't.
No.
No, yeah, that's the misinformation.
Gold, that's fine. That's a whole different animal. Gold's a completely different animal. Can you cook gold in electrolysis? Right. Yeah, but you could also do a lot of other things to gold.
That's
absolutely.
Right.
And that's one of the great things.
I appreciate your time, and I'll let you get back to chatting with Josh there. And any other questions pop up, Josh might want to watch. There's been a few.
Yeah,
and, we'll talk to you later. Frank, thank you for your time, sir.
About that, Chuck, if you see some of them that seem important, go ahead and shoot them off to him, because my chat's dead in the water right now.
Yep.
So
Barb, $70 and $20 for the charger. I think that's right, isn't it, Frank?
Yeah, right around in there. I don't have it in front of me. Like I said, there's other people that are selling them, so I don't know if anybody's selling cheaper, anybody's selling them more. But that's about the ballpark of them. Yeah.
Yep, and I like your products. You build it well. I'll plug it because I sell it. I'm kind of funny about that. Until I try a product, take a look at it, and I made my mistakes. I cooked an alligator clip and things like that. I was learning, and I wanted people not to do the same. I did a little thing, and people were telling me. I did a little post on YouTube with it. I like it. It's done a good job for me, and I'm learning with it. That's all it takes, a little learning time, and I'll keep selling you products. You make a good one.
Well, and that's the beauty of it. The alligator clips are consumable. They're replaceable easily.
Yeah, I want. Well, I'll tell people where you can get a set of alligator clips for $2 is over at Hobby Lobby. I got 6 of them after I cooked one.
Hobby Lobby and Harbor Freight, I think, sells 10 for like $4. So there's places to get them for sure. And one of the tricks I tell people too, when you set your tank up for the first time and you've got your alligator clips, pick one alligator clip to use on your coin side of the machine. Use that alligator clip all the time, because then you're only going to the coin, the alligator clip on your catalyst side is going to break down. Even guys that are smart enough to keep the clip out of the water, that process over and over and over again, eventually that clip is going to start to break down. So the alligator clip on the catalyst side will have to be replaced at some point in time. So just keep one for your alligator, one for your catalyst, keep one for your coin. The coin one will pretty much last forever. And then the catalyst, you only have to replace once in a while.
Okay, sir. Good tips. Well, I appreciate it. And I'll be asking you for some more, I'm sure.
No problem, buddy.
You have a great night, my man. And, hey, Josh, we'll talk later, and drop a dime on him there about Tuesday afternoon if you want to do that.
All right, I'll make sure to do that before we get out of here.
And we'll give that a whirl. We'll have some fun with it, and I know everybody's going to be a little bit bored, and we're being kind of sequestered, and I urge everybody to follow that. Just stay as tight to home as you can. That's all I'm going to say about it. No more of that. Good night, all. Bye-bye.
Hey, Chuck.
Thanks for the call, Chuck.
You betcha, bud.
And yeah, as long as everybody's following, instructions. I mean, you even said yourself on a previous show over on Detect America, the worst thing we're getting out of this is everybody's washing their hands a little more. And exactly. I'm fine with that. I'm happy with that.
I don't get the screaming and yelling. I know it's in a lot of people's nature to buck the system. That's just who we are as people. But when the system is asking you to wash your hands, I can wash my hands, stay in the house and watch TV and eat. I can probably survive on that for a little while.
Right. I loved it. I literally laughed my ass off the other day when I saw the post from you that says, new routine, wake up, breakfast, nap, lunch, nap, dinner,
people
snack.
I'm going crazy. They're saying I'm going crazy. Crazy. Right now, at least, I'm loving it. I'm inside. I walk out to the shop. I build a little bit ugly box. I go back in. I turn the TV on. Listen. And I'm not getting yelled at for it. It's awesome.
Right, exactly. I mean, how can you go wrong here? It's okay. It's not the end of the world.
That's right. You know what? We'll do what we're told. We'll survive.
Right. Yeah. We just and it's for everyone's best interest, because the elderly, the young, the medically compromised. You don't want to wind up spreading it to them or anything like that.
God forbid, I'm the reason that someone in my family or an older member of my family gets sick. I don't even want to have that question in my mind. So
exactly,
I'm quite content sitting here. And if I need to detect that bad, I got a backyard I can go play around in by myself and pull up a couple pieces of clad and satisfy my need.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, you got to get out there and get the fix in every now and then.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
But like with the questions that Chuck had, and Chuck said there had been some questions in the chat too, which I can't even get to those. I mean, we're locked up over here. But that is one of the reasons why we want to mention this boot camp series of electrolysis videos, because this will give many people the opportunity to ask these questions real time and maybe even see real time results.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And we will definitely, we'll definitely have some results, especially night one. We're going to do a couple silvers, and not because we're trying to convince people that they're super hard to do, but it's going to allow me to show the process. It's going to allow me to show the setup, what I do pre-cook, what I do post-cook. And then night 2 is going to be the coppers. And I'm sure I'll have some results to show. Will I have a completed coin in an hour and a half? Probably not, but I'll show you for sure. You'll see some results. And then again, night 3 is going to be all the ancillary stuff, all the tweaking of the color, all the finishing products, stuff that you shouldn't finish a coin with, stuff that how we finish off a coin and put it up for display. Just all the questions that come in. Some will seem basic, but when I have 100 people asking the same question, then it's obviously something that I should cover.
Right, exactly, and it's always easier rather than answer that question 100 different times. You can do it once in the video, and it's there.
Well, that's just it. And I may not be. It may be something that I just can't answer over the phone. You know what I mean? It may be something or on a chat. It may be something that needs to be shown, and that's fine. I'm all for it.
Right. And how long do you plan for these videos to run? Are they going to run for an hour and a half, half hour?
We're planning an hour, but as long as there's interaction and there's questions coming in, I'll keep it going. But I'm not really putting a timeline on it just because I want to try and make sure that enough of this stuff is getting answered. If the questions are out there and the questions are coming in, then I'm going to keep answering them.
Right. And most likely, the way it sounds from the response, if they're not already a member of the Detect America group, that's probably where they're going to want to go, because that's probably where it's going to launch first, and then it'll be carried over to the Electrolysis group.
Exactly. I'll once we're up and running, we'll have links posted wherever. Just because we have, whenever I do Electrolysis show, I always have it in the back of my head that, maybe not everybody's into it. So I was going to kind of isolate it over on the Electrolysis page, but the response that I'm getting has been so big that I'm just going to have it on the regular page on an off night, and then we'll put the links on the Electrolysis page and wherever else. And anybody wants to post a link, by all means, post it up and have a watch party. It'll be a ball.
Yeah, I mean, because realistically, and I've said this many times before on the show, when it comes to Electrolysis, if you're going to do it, that's great, but make sure you're doing it properly. And that's where they're getting the proper information, is off of the Electrolysis group or the Detect America group, or even seeing some of your YouTube videos that you've done in the past. Like if they're going to make it out of a wall charger, look, this is what you need to do, things of that nature.
Exactly. And people ask me that all the time. If I wasn't for wall charging units in the beginning, why did I do the video? And the first video on this was specifically because people were using whatever wall charger they could get a hold of. I wanted to make sure that if they were going to use a wall charger, then that they were using it safely. If you go back and you watch that video for the homemade electrolysis, we had floating circuits. We had everything we could do in this tank to try and divert at least 50% of the power, trying to prevent it from arcing, teaching them how to test for the positive and negative sides on a power adapter. And then we moved on from there. And it got, the battery operated ones got to the point where you were getting the same, if not more, out of running the battery packs than running these no-name wall chargers. And we've now moved it to the point where we've got a wall charger specific for this thing with all the safety bells and whistles that it has on it, and it works as good as the batteries for a longer period of time. It's all been about the safety, first and foremost about the safety.
And it's the only authorized wall charger.
Yeah, so just for an example, if something happens to your unit and you need it replaced or you need it repaired, you're going to have to send the wall unit back with it, because any other wall unit used in this thing voids it. There's been a lot of time and effort put into this specific AC adapter. It's got the right voltage, it's got the right amperage, it's got the right safety features. So if your unit goes south and you're using, your mother's hair dryer's power pack, guess what? You'll probably burn something up by using the power pack you weren't supposed to use. So that's one of the very few stipulations. If God forbid something happens to your unit, you need a repair, and you have a wall unit, you have to send the wall unit back with it. And if that's the case, but the amount of returns that we've had over the years has been mind-boggling low. Literally,
nice.
it's been under 3. And I'm not just talking about the T.N.Ts. I'm talking about even the old ones that we built out of the Tupperware. We've gotten about 3 of them back in probably 10, 12 years.
Nice. Now, let's talk for a minute real quick about the boost kits. You know, when you get your unit, usually it will come with your alligator clips, your catalyst, your brine solution mix. You've got everything right there, so you can start cooking immediately right out of the box. And you do offer the kind of boost kits, recharge kits, whatever, to replenish those materials. Are those also covered, carried by the distributors and dealers?
Yes. Ronnie's got them. I'm assuming Ronnie is distributing them. Now, I don't know outside of our main contact. Ronnie is a dealer, but he's also our distributor, Detecting Adventures LLC. So anybody who wants that stuff goes to Ronnie. We supply it to Ronnie. And the reboot kit is a generous supply of the brine mix. It's a pack of the carbon. You get another set of jump wires. And then what's going to be happening, because guys are cooking a lot, they're going through a lot of brine. Granted, I've given a recipe out there, guys, for brine solution. You can make it yourself. Just to toot our own horn, the reason a lot of people come back to ours is we basically are using medical grade stuff. It washes off really, really clean, which is the only real difference between a high end brine solution and a low end brine solution is you want the product to wash off your coin. No matter what, it's still a salt solution you're putting your coin into. It has to be something that washes off really, really cleanly. And using the medical grade stuff, it's a really quick and instantaneous clean of the coin. You don't have any residue left on it.
And you have to remember, too, if you're going to make your own brine solution, do not use iodized salt.
Well, that's the one thing. I every time I get interviewed, every time I talk about this, the one thing that comes up every single time. Your brine solution that you put in the water with the salt water mixture in it, does absolutely nothing. 0 to clean your coin. So it can only hurt your coin if you add stuff to it that you're not supposed to. Adding
lemon juice,
adding acids. This is stuff that's going to get picked up by your coin, and especially in coppers, guys, especially in bronzy type older coins. That stuff is going to get absorbed into your coin. It's going to impregnate your coin, and you can't get rid of it. Electrolysis will not get rid of it. So very basic brine solution is just conduct the electricity across the circuit, and the process will take care of itself. Don't add anything else to your brine solution.
Exactly. I mean, it may look great coming out of the tank that first time, but put that thing in your display case and walk by and look at it 6 weeks later and see what you think.
And I get that's the thing is I've been preaching this for I don't know how many years, and I still to this day get guys, I cleaned my coin, all of a sudden I got big purple blotches showing up on it. Well, let me guess. What'd you use? Either use iodized salt or you put lemon juice in the mix. I mean, it's just basic. It's just when I don't know what other people tell them. When I tell you something to do for your electrolysis, it is after it has been tried, it is after it has been tested, and it is for the sole purpose of bettering your experience with electrolysis. Period. It's simply to make it easier, safer, and more effective. It's not to sell more, because I have a safe brine solution recipe out there. It's out there. It's on the internet, guys. I have a safe recipe out there. The stuff that I make is a little bit better just because it's a higher grade of the stuff. It's not going to conduct electricity any better. It's simply going to wash off better. It's not that we're trying to gouge you to come to me to buy brine solution. It's about I want you to use a brine solution that's going to be effective and not damage anything, not hurt your coin or your system in any way.
Well, and really that's a good point too, is with these recharge kits, basically the brine, the clips, the catalyst, we're talking a very nominal fee. It doesn't cost very much.
No, and we're going to add a new reboot kit that's going to be just brine, because the carbon lasts forever. Guys are smart enough out there. If they're not getting the carbon from me, they know where they can get the carbon. The brine solution seems to be what people return to me for the most. They like our brine solution, especially how it cleans off. So we're going to update another reboot kit, which is just going to be a larger portion of brine, bigger cans of brine solution. We adjust this as people are requesting it. People want more brine solution, so we're going to offer more brine solution. And honestly, the fee for the brine solution is going to be super cheap.
Well, and realistically, from what we've seen, the evolution of the boxes through the years anyway, it's changing as demand and situation dictate, and we've seen a lot of nice changes incorporated into it. This is just another one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the Thunder and the Thrasher was probably the biggest change that we've had in 30 years of messing with this stuff. And the Thunder in particular was the game changer. I can't tell you how many people have responded to me thanking me, not because the electrolysis is so wonderful, but introducing the hypersonic system. How many people have said, I cleaned it with the hypersonic probe, and it does not need to be cooked now. I've got so much detail, so sharp, it was just obscured by the dirt. I'm going to hold off. That's the whole idea, guys. Not every single coin you come across is a candidate to be put in that tank. If you pull a coin and you hit it with the Thunder and it cleans dirt off and you've got sharp writing, the edges are sharp, there's no peeling, no delamination, don't cook it. It's not needed. We want you to cook it to save the coin, to stop the breakdown. The cleaning, I overkill everything. I love bringing them back to the shiny. When I do displays, I love having those shiny coins looking like they were when they were minted. That's personal preference. If you have a coin that has sharp edges, you've cleaned it with the probe and it's got sharp edges. The writing is sharp. The edges are clean. Then it's your molecular breakdown on the inside of that coin hasn't happened yet. The coin has still got a nice strong core. Put it aside. Put it in display. You don't have to cook it. Not every single coin is a candidate to be cooked.
Right. It's a case-by-case basis. And that was one of the things that I really liked about the incorporation of the Thunder and the Thrasher, because for me, cleaning finds over the years, I've always made sure to have an ultrasonic unit sitting around the house.
Right.
Now I don't need it. My arsenal is downsized because I can just use, if I find an item, I can look at it and say, well, all I need is a little ultrasonic bath. No problem. I can hook up the T.N.T.
The thing that I wanted to kind of talk about that hypersonic probe, the Thunder, because I've had complaints over the years, because originally the Thunder, the first concept of the Thunder was going to be a hypersonic tank. It was simply going to be a vibration tank, just to make it easier. You get one with the system, you plug it in, it'll work. The problem is that those ultrasound cleaners that you get at Harbor Freight, you get everything. They're called impact motors. So in other words, the vibrations that come out of that thing are actually from a little spinning piece of metal that's making contact with the bottom of that tank.
Exactly.
This is the same thing. If you had a super delicate piece of jewelry that you dug, and you took that piece of jewelry and you throw it on a concrete floor, that's the same impact that's happening with that impact motor. It's not always a candidate for stuff that's super fine. The Thunder is a different type of vibration. It's created by a diaphragm. It's not created by an impact. It's 20,000 pulses per minute. And it's shallow penetration. So that vibration is not going through the core of your coin. It's not going through the core of the jewelry. It's simply reacting to surface area. It cleans much better. Loose debris comes off much easier, much faster, without that harsh impact. Not saying throw away your hypersonic cleaners. My wife's got one. She throws her jewelry in it all the time. But for this ultra delicate stuff, you can get a lot more forceful with it with the Thunder with less damage than with an impact vibration cleaner.
And that's a good point, because I have used the ultrasonic cleaners of that style and have knocked stones loose from different pieces of jewelry.
I've swept the stones out of the bottom of my ultrasound cleaner before.
Exactly.
So,
I have not done that though with the Thunder.
No, that's the thing. The Thunder is a little bit more precise. It's got a nice vibration. It'll vibrate the water in that tank, and those vibrations, it's actually the vibrations of the water of the medium around it that's actually doing that cleaning. Now, I'll go so far as I take that thunder and I put it right on the surface of the coin, because it is a shallow vibration and it's a nylon container. It's not going to scratch. And I can't even tell you how many coins that were getting prepped to go into the electrolysis tank and never made it to the electrolysis tank because of how good the condition was. Once we hit him with the thunder and we saw what was actually underlying there was just no need to take it to that next step.
Right. Exactly. And we had mentioned we do actually have one of the new Ugly Box Copperhead technology units to give away.
Right.
But I want people to be informed about the process that they're using. And Frank and I had talked before the show. I think what we're going to do is we'll post that up on the Beyond Sight and Sound page on Facebook. And I want everyone to go and watch these series of boot camp videos.
Yep.
And then we'll announce a winner after that. And they
Beautiful.
can get that shipped out.
However you guys want to give it away, it's yours. Give it away. Guys, the more people that tune in, the better. It's not going to be a 3-day commercial for selling the Ugly Box, guys. This is a lot of people have the Ugly Box, have the new version. A lot of people have the older version. A lot of people have the real old version. This is simply the steps that I talk about all the time, the steps that I post about, the steps that I chat with people about. This is going to be simply showing you physically how you can do what we talk about. The hands-on, as far as I'm concerned, hands-on and visually seeing what we do is the best way to learn that process and to free up that fear of that you're going to destroy something, get you in there and show you that we can do this live and not destroy everything. It's nothing to be that afraid of.
Right. Nothing's going to blow up or anything. I'm sure you'll keep Steve in check.
Yeah, Steve's going to be the cameraman.
There you go. I did see him post telling you, don't screw up tonight. I won't be there to carry you. But really, I mean, you guys, you do a great job over there with the shows and everything. A lot of good laughs for people that do tune in. But really, really looking forward to the electrolysis videos because of the fact that for people who are intimidated by it, it's going to show them it's not that complicated. And that's why I say we'll make a post on the Beyond Sight and Sound page, give people time to get entered into the contest, but also it gives them time to watch the videos so that they can feel a little better informed and better armed to use that box when it comes to them.
Being comfortable, like I tell people, when you get a coin in that you're considering cooking, don't approach the coin like it's this ancient, priceless, delicate. Approach it as a piece of metal, and learn how to. It's a piece of metal that's presenting a challenge to you. Learn how to adapt what you know to that coin. Become comfortable with it. And once you become comfortable with it and you have the working knowledge around that coin, you're going to make the decision whether or not that coin needs to be cooked or not. And if it needs to be cooked, then you're going to have the tools to safely do it, take it as far as you want it, because you don't have to take it to the end glistening, shining coin. You can take it as far as you want it. Every second in electrolysis adds life to the coin, slows down the breakdown process. If you cook it till it's cured, you've added, literally hundreds of years to it out of the ground. So it's all about making you comfortable and giving you a working knowledge of what that machine can do, what you can do with that machine.
Right. And granted, some people may make some mistakes along the way or what they think are mistakes, but that's how we all learn. And that's why you want to practice with different pieces. But once you get the feel for it and know what to do and realize that it's a case-by-case scenario and see what the item is telling you the next step should be, you're going to be very, very pleased with the outcome.
Let the coin, let the relic, let that dictate to you what the next step is. There's not a set of rules in place that no matter what, I've got to do this, and this to that coin. The coin is going to tell you what it needs. And as that coin develops in the vibration tank, as it develops in the electrolysis tank, you're going to know whether you should push it farther or whether you're done. let the coin or the relic dictate that to you.
Exactly. And really, with the newer boxes, too, it looks like the Thrashers have been a little more streamlined as well. Like the way they're looking on the new ones.
The Thrasher, yeah. Well, we kind of settled on the design for the Thrasher finally. The original Thrashers were tinier. They were much smaller, and I liked it because in my head I was seeing that it was kind of pinpointing the process a little bit more on each coin. That actually is kind of counterproductive. It feels better in your hand when it's bigger, and the wider that pad on the nose of the Thrasher is, the actual less chance there is of scratching it. This thing is at 20,000 pulses per minute. The movement of the Thrasher is microscopic. It physically can't scratch. My wife uses it to polish scratches out of her gold jewelry. It takes them right out and it polishes them right up. Again, technology has finally gotten to the point. We always had the technology. We simply didn't have it small enough. And now we do. And the museums that I have built systems for, I just built a Thunder for a guy, a salvage vessel doing cannons, plural. I just did a Thunder that's about 4 feet long and produces about 80,000 pulses per minute that they're literally sticking in the tank and pinpointing areas that they're loosening dirt up. And then the next step of that is I'm building a electrolysis system for about a 5,000 gallon tank.
That's a big Thunder.
A big Thunder.
Yeah,
or Thrasher.
Apparently it's a big cannon.
Yeah, I would say so, definitely. And for people that are interested, I mean, not only do you have the opportunity to win the one that we've got up for grabs here soon with the upcoming boot camp videos and everything, but where can they find it if they want to purchase it?
Our local dealer is the Gold Digger, www.thegolddigger.com. If you're a member of the DA page, you can use code on his website DA10 for a discount. You can tell them you're a member of DA, and they'll give you a discount. Chuck and his team over at Shooters and Prospectors has them. We're literally in about a dozen or more stores, so check with your local dealer. And I don't want to quote prices because your dealer might be having a sale. I don't know. So that's why I don't quote prices, because I don't want you to send you someplace where you might be paying more than you would than your local dealer may be offering. If you have a dealer that wants to carry them, Detecting Adventures LLC is the distributor, and they are more than happy to help you set up any small dealerships with, whatever number of starter kit and ugly boxes you want.
Nice. And obviously, in the show description, we've got the link right there at the top in every one for Shooters and Prospectors. Chuck can get you hooked up. Like Frank said, Ronnie can get you hooked up. Plenty of places out there.
Literally, we're down in Kellyco. We're in, I think, Big Boys. We're we're across the nation in a bunch of stores. I can't name off the top of my head because I don't know all of them. But, check with them. If not, like I said, the only guaranteed discount that I know off the top of my head is Ronnie, because he is our sponsor. So there is a discount code DA10 for Ronnie's page. And check with your local guys.
Absolutely. And what time? Let's see. Thursday, this coming Thursday, will be the first boot camp video.
Yes,
what time do you think that will be?
We will definitely be going off at 8 o'clock.
Okay, so we've got a time set in place. Everybody can watch for those links on Detect America, the Electrolysis group as well, and I'll be anxiously watching myself, so it'll probably be on the Beyond Sight and Sound page and group as well over there, too, awesome. For those. Really looking forward to seeing what gets done with these coins, and for people that tune in for them, it's kind of a win-win anyway, because not only are you watching these videos to inform yourself and possibly win the ugly box that we'll have on the Beyond Sight and Sound page, but I believe on the third video in the series, you're going to give away a counterstamped Morgan.
We're going to give away something each of the 3 nights, but the last night is the Morgan I dug about 2 weeks ago, which actually is really good shape, and counterstamped H, and that's the final night we're going to be giving away. I'm showing it to the camera like people can see me, Josh.
It is nice.
But it's on our videos. It's been posted on the page. Third night, we're going to give away the 1897 Morgan dollar. And it is, I think Steve said it was an O mint mark. It is. It's a New Orleans mint with a counter stamped H.
Right. That is a very, very nice piece. I mean, every time you look at it, does it get a little harder to say, yeah, I'm going to give it away?
I know. I looked at it, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to give this away. Oh, man, maybe not. No, we're going to give it away.
Yeah, because I know before you were going, it's all right. I've got pictures, but I don't know. If it was me, every time I'd look at it, I'd be going, I don't know, though. Maybe I can find something else to give away.
I know. Every time I give away one of mine that I found somewhere, I always have second thoughts, but we wind up giving it away anyway.
Right. Well, hey, so they're going to have multiple chances to win.
Yeah, we're giving away something every night. Some kind of coin or something every night. I'm going to go through the prize dungeon. We may even do a couple of giveaways. I don't know. Just like the normal shows. But the balance of the show is going to be hardcore cleaning the coins, setting up the process. There's going to be tips and tricks of stuff that I do with my coppers that have been very successful for me that I'm going to reveal. This is stuff that's not in your direction sheet, stuff that I do here personally that I'll show you, and anything to make you comfortable with the process. And that's the name of the game. The name of the game is people. Listen, I know people have spent their hard-earned money on this thing, and I got a lot of examples. The guys send me pictures every day of the success they're having. I want everybody to feel that comfortable, and understand the process and understand how to use this machine.
And we want everybody to
how to use your own. Even if a lot of the stuff that we're going to be talking about is going to be applicable to your own systems. If you're building systems at home, making them safe, using these tips and tricks aren't just for the ugly box. They may be for the system that you're using already.
And we want people to post up those results because it's always great to see what they're doing with it. Absolutely. I've got bits and pieces of the chat coming up here. People are asking me about cooking stuff with stones. The electrolysis doesn't hurt natural stones. It doesn't affect them whatsoever. Barbara Connell asked about something about a kid's dig. Barbara, send me the info. We're always willing to do something for kids' digs. So yeah, definitely send me the info. Nice. I don't know if she's mentioning a kids' hunt or if she's mentioning the kids' Christmas giveaway that we do over here every year.
Whatever. Tell her to hit me up.
Yeah, definitely. And as far as I know, I guess before we get out of here, absolutely phenomenal job with the support for Teresa. We're very, very saddened to hear about her passing. But did that derail the DA kids that you guys do normally?
It's not that it derailed it. A phenomenon of life. A lot of the DA kids were getting older. We noticed that the list was becoming shorter. And when this presented itself, it was just, it was just the right thing for us to do. So not that DA Kids is gone. We'll definitely probably do it again for Christmas time. We always do stuff with Cub Scouts or school groups. We literally have 20 or 30 bounty hunters here that we're more than willing to take out to schools and Cub Scout troops and whatever and take kids out for digs. No, it didn't derail it, but this just kind of took precedence this year. It was, all I can tell you is we lost Teresa and we are brokenhearted about it. But guys, if you knew how much that meant to her, what you guys reached out and did for her, you can't, she talked about it all the time. Every time she talked about it, she broke into tears. No one could have been more appreciative for what happened than Teresa was.
Right.
And her
phenomenal amount of support.
Her family was tremendously grateful.
Yes, absolutely. And it's great to see the community come together as a whole for things like that. So very, very good job on that. Very good job.
Thank you. It was our pleasure to do. It wasn't even a question of whether we were going to do it. It was just an absolute thing we had to do.
Right. The outpouring of donations was, very, very surprising to see that much. I mean, you guys were doing non-stop giveaways of appreciation.
Yeah, the folks turned out in a big way.
Yes, they did. It was it was great to
again, see. Not just the guys on the page. The donations were amazing, but when we did that, we kind of set it up and we kind of started it post dig season. So all the dig events had already taken place. So all the manufacturers had already given away their allotted freebies for the year. So we've done stuff in the past where the manufacturers have just said, listen, we simply just can't give any more this year. And every single one of them, just about every single one of them, turned out huge. There was no question. There was no argument. There was no hard sell. I told them the story, and the stuff was being sent to us. So kudos to all those guys, Fisher, Whites, Mind Lab, everybody, Note to Macro, everybody who sent stuff. God bless you, because it made such a big impact.
Right. Well, I guess about the only other thing we've got left is to let people know where to find you, and we'll get out of here. Plug your pages and everything.
Detect America, our Facebook page, guys. All are welcome. We love Josh. We love guys that come over from Josh's show to our show on Mondays and Thursdays. We do a live show. Most Mondays, me and Steve just get together and BS about whatever's on our mind, metal detecting. Thursday nights are generally our main show where we have our guests or whatever. We've got a couple of big ones coming up. We are currently giving away. We're in the middle of a contest for a Mind Lab Vanquish. And the giveaway night for the Vanquish, we have a pretty substantial guest coming on. I'm not allowed to reveal just yet, but it's a name you all know. So.
But they're going to want to go back and check those past videos, because that's every Monday.
That's right. Every Monday night we give away a code word. After 5 weeks, we're giving away this Vanquish. The Vanquish was given away by one of our members. Was given to us by one of our members who won a bunch of stuff during the Teresa giveaways. He gave a bunch of stuff to the Teresa giveaways, and then turned around and is giving us a Vanquish just to give away for the page for the contest. And especially as we're moving towards our summer schedule, guys all know we kind of go on a little bit of a hiatus in the summertime where me and Steve try to do as much beach digging as we can. We still go live through the week, but the scheduled show is kind of like here and there till Labor Day. So we're kind of trying to pack as much into these last few shows until the end. Unless, of course, we're not allowed on the beaches by then we're going to do a lot of shows.
Right. Exactly. Well, I think that covers everything. And for those that were listening to Chuck's call earlier, he said to go ahead and drop something in there about Tuesday. We are looking at doing just a short go live Tuesday afternoon, probably. You'll want to keep an eye on Chuck's page, Shooters and Prospectors, Beyond Sight and Sound, anywhere like that when that information comes out. We'll just do a short little go live since everybody's cooped up anyway. Talk a little detecting, 15, 20 minutes, something like that, just to kind of mix things up a little bit.
Josh.
I'll do that. I'll do that. And hopefully tonight, tomorrow, somewhere in there, tentatively, I'll get the contest rolling on the Beyond Sight and Sound page for the very generous donation of the Ugly Box from Frank and Detect America, and we'll get that rolling for everyone too, so you've got to keep an eye out for those upcoming Electrolysis videos. Until the next time, though, I think we've ran on long enough. We've had quite a great response in the chat, it looks like, judging from how quick mine went dead in the water. But we certainly do appreciate it. So if you enjoyed the show, make sure and throw us a like. You can follow us here on Spreaker, Facebook, YouTube, the many wonderful podcast distribution services that are out there. And obviously check out Detect America Monday and Thursday nights over on the Detect America Facebook group. And while you're at it, check out the Detect America Electrolysis Facebook group. Very, very good information there. Until the next time, we're going to roll, folks. Hang in there with me, Frank, and we'll get on out of here. For everyone else, have a wonderful evening. Hopefully, the coronavirus doesn't affect things too bad, and you're able to get out there and find something. If you can't, go ahead and post up some photos of some finds you've cleaned up. If you're doing electrolysis to do it, make sure to post those up over on the Detect America Electrolysis group. We're always interested in seeing what's going on. Have a wonderful evening, folks. We're out of here.